Hello, and welcome to week 7. I can't believe it's week 7 of my Human in the Loop experiment. And this week, I've been moving away more from personal operational efficiency to creating high value editorial content supported by AI. And I think that's the right way around of thinking about it. Because AI can generate reams and reams of content at an alarming rate, but is it valuable? And does it create a knowledge transfer and learning? And that's the key to it. And it's not insight, it's my overwhelming belief. And then the AI element helps you process it faster than you would. So what we managed to build is, I believe, phase 1 of what I call a editorial intelligent framework, where we have successfully tested that on a short stack piece that I created. And one of the things that it solves is what I call the blah content patterns, all that padding that AI normally throws into work, which just literally adds no value. Phrases like represents a significant shift. Well, it's not really a significant shift. It's just a different way of doing things. The generation with a more direct, decisive voice, which are the ones that are getting more resonance. The framework presents a style checking guide, and the framework performs a test against a style guide, identifies those things, self-corrects, and then creates a better first draft. I think the final draft should still always be done by the human. So in my view, where I'm getting to is it's bookended. It starts with the human insight because we've got to connect all these dots, and it gets bookended because you just double check and make sure that it's written in a resonant way. And as part of that editorial framework, I was able to analyze the 93 pieces of content that have already been created and identify patterns, and also have those content items linked to performance so you can see where's resonance happening, where isn't it happening. And actually, more importantly, it's not just about views. What we've put in is like an engagement score. Something can have very low views, but deep engagement. So that should be where the value is. And it also gives a very good way of looking holistically on where your content clusters are and which ones you should double down on. It's been a very tiring week. One of the big learnings is that AI, even if you give it live context, tends to revert to generic training patterns. So that was the big breakthrough, where we were able to catch those and iterate off the back of them, and moving towards a more problem-focused direct openings rather than all the generic fluff. So that is effectively what was breaking, that the content that was being generated just kept reverting to that AI speak, no matter which model you use. Putting in those guardrails to make sure that they're tuned to your voice. I was talking to a friend who was like going, surely there are platforms that'll do this for you. But it's my firm belief that if you want to continue to develop your own tone of voice, which at the end of the day is what people will pay you for in terms of attention, money, and so on, I really believe you need to double down on creating and maintaining that yourself. The SaaS platforms that we've tested, they just keep snapping back to this very generic content creation. And the idea of not using AI in content creation, I think we're past that problem. The problem is how. And I saw a video where someone said, I get paid to write articles for The Guardian, but wouldn't it be better if articles were created by 50 expert opinions rather than my view? And I think that's a very powerful insight, because a piece which has the expert view of 50 people is probably more valuable than those single opinion pieces. But we'll see. We're going to keep pushing out on that. So this week the big insight was AI quality control is not just about grounding and making sure that the content is factually correct and so on. I think we can solve for that, and may already have pretty quickly. The real importance is, how can you get it to maintain your style and actually go beyond maintaining your style, to maintain your tone, to evolve real time as you evolve in terms of identifying content pieces that work and that don't work. And then that's going to be pretty tough nut to. The reason I believe it's worth doubling down on that is because in the past, when run and launch media businesses, you are literally taking expert pieces or finding good news items and putting your own spin on it. But that was kind of a little bit how the content creation process works, especially in small media businesses, where you didn't have large research teams and so on. But I think the opposite is now true. You can effectively have a large research team. That is something that you can hand off to AI. Now, what happens when you have that, and how do you create your unique value over the top of that and still maintain solid content creation operations? So all of that is the job for next week. And it's where that content framework that we tested this week is really going to come into play, I believe, anyway. Thank you for watching. And as you can probably tell, there is a lot to think about, because a lot has happened this week as well in terms of how content is discovered with the AI landing pages on the major search engines. There's very little reason to click through. This is, I believe, a very big question to answer. What is the landscape of content in this AI world that doesn't default to the volume and velocity approach? We'll just have a very, very short lifespan. We'll get sick of it because you'll see the same thing back and back. You're already seeing it on YouTube. Someone else picks it up and they fight against that short and so on. The differentiation is really becoming less and less, and it's becoming more and more homogenized. Anyway, thank you for watching. And like I said, this has been week 7. I'm looking forward to